Want to talk to all about this event, our resident GM, Dan O'Dowd. Dan, good to see you, my friend. You like to put together all kinds of qualifiers and how you look and evaluate young talent. There are always areas of concern for no matter who it is, and you point them out because you almost have to when you're going to take such a big financial plunge from a front office. Walk me through how an event like this could possibly alleviate some of those potential concerns.
Well, in a draft room, there are three things that consistently come up. And let me start by saying, guys, is that when you try to put together a picture of a player completely, it's made up by all these little snapshots of pictures that creates the bigger one. So events like this just add to your ability to add another picture to the bigger picture. But the three things that would consistently come up in draft rooms are health, performance fluctuations, and makeup concerns. And you know, for me, if you have the ability to address any of these issues ahead of selecting the player, that only helps you get the player right on your board, and ultimately it helps the player because he gets now put into position to address all the concerns that an organization may have that prior to this event, they may never have had an opportunity to do.
Dan, what are most people naive to when it comes to a draft that a club might be looking at and you really don't understand that?
Well, I think the first thing is I think people get too hung up on clubs' evaluation of performance. Certainly you want to see a player perform. But for me, I would always tell our scouts, hey, once you've seen that guy perform, I could care less whether he performs well again. He's shown you what he's capable of doing. Mm-hmm. Now let's find out the why behind how he was able to perform like that. Let's create this entire picture of the player so we really know if he fits the criteria we want as a particular organization. So I think parents at times get a little too concerned about performance and the fluctuation of performance. Though if there are some drastic ones, we certainly want the ability to try to ask the questions that may be leading that player to have an incomplete picture. In addition to this, guys, the beauty of this for me this year, it allows players certainly from cold weather climates or seasons that ended early or players that didn't perform necessarily up to the expectations they had or how they've performed in the past to really get another opportunity to address some of those things and allow clubs maybe to look at them a little differently going into their draft room and as they put the board together than they would have looked at in previous years.
And we're talking about top 200 players in the country. These are a bunch of alpha males, right? But let's just say, since we're putting the top high school players, top college players, and they're all together, are you watching maybe a high school kid who's used to being the stud and the king of his county, but now he's the 12th best shortstop here at the Combine, and how he interacts with players that are getting more attention at the same position? Little nuances like that, would you be paying attention to if you were there in person?
Greg, for me, I'm watching these kids from the minute they step on the field, how they go about their short toss, long toss programs, how they begin to put themselves in a position to do any kind of fundamental drill that's going to be done at the Combine. And then I'm going to watch them athletically in their movement patterns and how they field a ground ball. If it's a shortstop, as you talked about, what's their transfer like? I'm going to probably have a stopwatch on them, trying to get an idea of what their transfer is going to be like time-wise from glove to throw. Are they going to land their throws consistently? Can they throw from different angles? Do they take the right angles to balls? Do they read them correctly off the bat? And then just their interaction with the other players, how they carry themselves. Do they act confidently? Are their shoulders slumped? Do they stand tall? It's all those things that I'd be paying attention to, everything that they do on the field. And then the ability, guys, one of the most important things for a Combine for me, and I can't stress this enough, is the ability to sit down across a table and just talk to the kid. I call it an interview. It doesn't have to be that, but you can really dig into really what makes this guy tick. And what I'm trying to find out in that conversation, does he really love the game of baseball? Because, Harold, you know this, there's two different type of loves. There's the love of the game that they love it when they're playing well. And then there's a love of the game that goes deeper than that they love it even when they don't play well. That's the kind of guy that I want to add into our organization.
No, and you're talking about information, Dan. You're talking about getting it all. And I think the most excited person is the area scout who's been in your ear telling you this guy he's one of the best in the country, I'm telling you. Now you get a chance to take that information and that conversation. He's got to be sitting right there with you. So my question is, you're running an organization. Who all are you bringing with you to this combine?
Well, for any player of the 200 players, the area scout of one of those 200 players are going to be in that combine. And then my scouting director, my assistant scouting director, and my national cross-checker. And then the people that I designate as my hitting guy, my infield guy, my outfield guy, my run guy, and my infield guy. The guys that I lend from an evaluatory standpoint more credence to their evaluation based upon their area of expertise and their experience into each of those areas and valuing their opinion so much. And again, getting another opportunity to get a snapshot on a player to see if it fits into the overall picture that we have up to this point in time, or whether that does change it in some way, shape, or form.
Real quick, we're running out of time. If there's a kid that's viewed as a first-round talent and he shows up to this combine, is that automatically a feather in his cap before he even fields a ground ball or throws a pitch in front of you?
Yeah, because he's not afraid of competition. He's not afraid of falling in the draft based upon his performance or lack thereof at the combine. That means he's highly competitive, a very confident kid. And you know what? He's showing up because he loves the game. But I will say, if a kid doesn't show up at the combine, I'm also not going to penalize him because I understand the incredible pressures that they may be under. But I would also ask a lot of questions about why they aren't coming to the combines and making sure that there's part of this picture that in some way, shape, or form doesn't add up from the prior information that we have.
Dan O'Dowd, great information always from you. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, guys.